This is relatively new, this shelving unit, and to be honest, it's a little close for me. But I'm not one to complain. It's more space for breads, flour, fruit, sieves. So, hello everyone, it's James. Today I'm back once again doing some cooking, and today I'm making something that is a favourite of mine, but also of friends of mine. Am I a little bit stingy? Maybe. Is making presents out of food easier than buying presents? Yes. That's why I like to make these. Chocolate and pistachio biscotti. Biscotti is such a great little biscuit. Perfect to go with like a little espresso, a little coffee, just after dinner. Little treat. Thank you very much. Biscotti means bake twice. We're gonna make them into logs, we're gonna bake them, and then we're gonna cut them into those classic biscotti shapes, bake them again, drizzle them with some dark chocolate. Yummy, 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 yummy. You'll be gobbling them up. These things are great just to have, but also they're nice to hand out. And what good is food if you're not sharing it with people? Let's get to some biscotti. We're gonna make them. It's gonna be nice and straightforward. Let's get to it. When making these chocolate and pistachio biscotti, you'll need 3 eggs, 175 grams of caster sugar, 60 grams of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 60 grams of shelled pistachios. It's taken me forever to get the shells off of these. My fingers are more or less bleeding, but all for the love of biscotti. 200 grams of plain flour and 100 grams of dark chocolate. The first thing we're going to do is chop up our pistachios. You can leave a couple whole ones in there, but just give them a rough chopping. Then we're going to divide our 100 grams of chocolate in half. 50 grams we're going to finely chop, and the other 50, like the pistachios, roughly chop. Keep them separate for now. We can now bring our nice bowl in here. Into the bowl we're going to sieve the flour, the cocoa powder, the sugar, and then we're going to add the finely chopped chocolate. A good pinch of salt, and then your teaspoon of baking powder. We're now going to employ the talented Mr. Whiskey. Truth be told, this would be so much easier in a food processor or a Magimix. Again, pointless plea, but Magimix, if you want to send out a nice little gift to me, you know, making my biscotti making much easier, then please do. In a separate bowl, we're going to crack our 3 eggs, and then we're going to add our teaspoon of vanilla extract. Be careful what you whisk for, because the whisk is coming back again. Give it a good beating so that there's no claggy bits of egg. In our dry ingredients, we're going to make a well. Into that well can go our eggs. Maybe beat the eggs first. Start to incorporate some of the dry ingredients before bringing it all together. Once it reaches a lumpy consistency, you can bring it all together with your hands. Flour your worktop, and just before you turn the bowl out onto the surface, add your chopped pistachios and chocolate. Use your hand to quickly mix them through in the bowl, and then turn everything out onto the floured worktop. Bring the dough together with your hands. Don't knead it too much, or else you'll end up with tough biscotti. And now here's Ruth's musical rendition of how many bowls I've used to the music of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
How many bowls must you use? You use so many bowls, it gets me confused.
Once the dough's come together, we're going to divide it out into 2. Bring in a baking tray, lined with some baking paper, and turn them into 2 long, nutty turds. It's not nice to say, it leaves a horrible taste in the mouth, I imagine, but we're all thinking it, so I'm just going to say it. They can then go into the oven at 180 degrees or gas mark 4 for about 25 minutes. This is their first bake. They should come out looking a little bit like this. Using a serrated bread knife, cut across the logs in a sawing motion to give you those classic biscotti shape. Cut at about 1 to 2 inch intervals. Once you're done, bring back your baking tray and line the biscotti on the baking paper. You should be able to see their lovely little cross section of nuts. Now they can go back in the oven for a further 15 minutes until crisp. When you bring them out, get them on a cooling rack and let them chill out for a bit. Now usually I'd go with a little drizzle of melted chocolate over them, but on this occasion I didn't. Still, there you have it. Rich chocolate and pistachio biscotti. So there we have it. Our lovely little biscottis, chocolate and pistachio. Now, obviously, I've done chocolate and pistachio, but you could do, if you didn't like nuts, for example, you could do little pieces of dried fruit like dried cranberries or raisins. No thanks, no dried fruit here, thank you. The pistachios, because they're quite salty, they bring a really nice saltiness to the sweetness of the biscotti. As you can hear, like it's nice and dry, which is sort of what you want. I've got a little coffee here, a pre-made tiny little coffee. Ruth, would you like to come and have a little taste of the biscotti? Here's Ruth. She's gonna now try a little bit of biscotti. So there you go. Oh, you're going without first, okay?
No.
Yeah? Just gonna speak to the camera, is that alright? Just one of the things that I would say is if you've got like a blender, like a high-powered blender or like a food processor, when you're putting all the dry ingredients together, the flour, the sugar, the baking soda, the chocolate, the cocoa powder, I would blitz it up in the blender, really finely get it all together and turn it into breadcrumbs. I found that the dough itself was a little bit hard to work with, and if you do it in that food processor and add your eggs to the food processor, it should bring it together a lot easier. I'm quite happy with how they've come out. Like, they're crunchy, they taste really good. How are they with the coffee?
Let's see.
Riveting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Nice?
The coffee and that chocolate flavour. Really good.
Alright, we don't need to see you drinking a coffee. Go on, you can go and sit down now. I'll let you have another one in a minute. Thanks very much for watching. Give these a go, bake them up, give them to your friends. If we're still in lockdown by the time this goes out, who knows whether we will be or not. Maybe pack some up, give them to your neighbours. You know, why not? Like, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, which you might well be, please just go onto the YouTube channel as well and just subscribe. It helps me out no end. And join me next time for another little recipe from Mon Repertoire. Again, French. What's the repertoire in Italian? Anyway, cheers. See you later.